Hey folks, it's Viejo here. The video you're about to see here is one that I'm reposting from my previous channel that had been deleted. So if you've seen this video, feel free to bypass it and move along to something else. Won't hurt my feelings at all. But I have had some requests to repost some of the videos from that other channel that are not likely to get channel strikes against them. So we're going to do that. And at the beginning of each of those videos, you'll see this very same prologue, so you'll know. All right, happy shooting, casting, and reloading to everybody. Catch you later. Okay guys, today I wanted to show you a little bit about a homemade bullet lube mold that I made for my RCBS Lub-O-Matic size lubricator. And in this particular machine, this compartment here is hollow, and there's a pin that goes all the way down. It's threaded, and one turns a screw that pushes up a washer like down through here and extrudes your lubricant through some channels and into this chamber right here where our sizing die lives. Okay, the type of lubricant that's commonly used for this, here's one that was, let me get that up there so you can see it. This is the one that came with my Lub-O-Matic 2 there. I never used it, but here's what it looks like if you've never seen this stuff before. So it's just a hollow stick, got a hole through the center of it, and that hole corresponds to this shaft that goes down through the lube chamber there. So I wanted to make my own lubricant, and in order to do so, I needed to make a stick something like this. So I rustled around in the garage a little bit and came up with some materials that would work. At least I thought it would work, and it actually did come out pretty well. So here's a stick of the lubricant I made, got my hole down through the middle, and that works fine with my Lub-O-Matic 2. I've used this lube before. We're not going to go into the recipe for this stuff or how to make the lubricant itself. We might do that on a separate video. But here's the mold that I made. And again, this is just materials that I had around the house. This is a piece of 2x4, obviously. Cut that to 11 inches so that it would fit in this aluminum pan from the dollar store. It's designed to be, you know, this part throwaway if necessary, because you will spill some of this stuff. Okay, so here's our pieces that we actually need to make the mold. We'll start here with a piece of PVC. That's 1 inch inside diameter PVC, cut 4 inches in length. All right. I used a slip-to-slip pipe cap that fits over top of those, and I drilled a 5/16 hole in there, and that is to accept the end of my 5/16 rod right here. All right. So that rod's going to fit in there like that. And then we need a 1 inch diameter washer that was born as a 1/4 inch hole through there. I had to drill that out a little bit to accept this. I had to run my 5/16 drill bit through there. All right. And then with our base itself, this was just a piece of scrap 2x4. I drilled a hole in here to accept my mold stick. I did that with my Forstner bit. Now that hole really needs to be 1 inch and 5/16, but I didn't have a Forstner that size. I used 1 inch and 3/8, and it worked pretty well. 5/16 would be better. The 1 inch and 3/8 leaves a little bit of a gap. This would be better with a tighter fit. Less of that material would run out of there. Okay, and then over here, this is just a piece of 1 inch dowel rod. That's 7 inches long. I drilled down into the 2x4 a little bit and glued it, and then put one screw down there just to kind of help hold that in place. And then there's a little 5/16 hole drilled down into the center there to hold this rod in place. So the washer is going to fit on the end here, That goes down in the hole, and that washer serves a couple of functions. The first is that it's going to help keep some of that lubricant from running out of the bottom of the mold when you pour it in, because it's going to go in liquid. And what you do is you pour a small amount in first while the material is just slightly above its solidification point. If it's too hot, it'll run literally all over the place. I found that out the first time. Then my little slip cap, when our mold has been filled, that just goes on top there to help keep that rod centered. That's all that thing does. Okay. Then after our lubricant is poured, you give it some time to set up. You want it to be pretty hard before you pull it out of the mold. And this one's got a stick in it, so we would pull it off, and that's this 1-inch dowel here is going to pull my lubricant. Now that came out all by itself, but I actually don't want that out of there right now. There we go, and here comes our lube stick out of the mold. And if you look closely, you can see that 1-inch washer still sitting there, and that's going to help to remove this this rod here. If we don't push this through this way, kind of pushing it against that washer, then what happens if I pull this out the other way, I discovered that it drags a lot of the lubricant with it. So that washer, then, that's its second function. It helps to retain the lubricant where it belongs, and then when we're done, we just pull that off. I got a little bit stuck on there on that one, which is okay. Let's wipe it back in there. So there's my lube stick then, all formed and ready to go with a hole down the middle. It worked out pretty well since I had all these materials already on hand, including these little pieces of, actually this was one continuous rod that I had that I bought for who knows why. Scrap piece of 2x4, some scraps of 1-inch inside diameter PVC, that's the size you need, piece of dowel rod, put it all together, and it worked pretty well. Okay, so there it is, our homemade bullet lubricant mold, and I had all of this stuff already on hand, so I'm claiming zero cost on it. But even if you had to go buy all of this stuff, I bet you wouldn't have $10 worth of materials in the whole thing. So easy project, didn't take long at all. I didn't know for sure if it would work from the get-go, but it did. It worked very, very well. A little bit of spillage and slop here, but nothing to worry about. All right, there it is. That's all she wrote.